all around the world. People are abandoning the lives they've always known, not because they have to, but because they want to. Leaving behind the predictable grind in search of something deeper. For some, it's stability. For others, economic opportunity. A sense of political security, or maybe, just maybe, a higher quality of life. Today, we're stepping inside the lives of 5 thriving expat families in 5 extraordinary corners of the world.
Health insurance is the thing doesn't
Me and my family are looking to the United States because we're ready for a change.
Like you have to make plans and then go for it. You know what? We can get the American dream, but it just won't be here in America.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. I would do it 150,000 more times to be where I'm at because I love it here. Yeah. I absolutely love it here. I think it's good for all of us, like physically, mentally, spiritually, like.
Yeah. So we moved my wife and our 2 kids and our 2 dogs to South Africa. And so far, it's been one of the greatest experiences that our family has ever had.
Right.
It's something that's not too far away from Western living. You know,
it's very similar to the States.
It's very similar, but then there's so many other things that, you know, sets it apart.
We needed to be somewhere where we felt like it would be safe for our kids to be comfortable and be able to go to school if we wanted them to, or be able to go to parks and to malls and stuff like that.
The reason why we chose Lisbon is it's safe, we blend in, and there's always something to do. We are living a life that we never thought was possible.
Every single day, I just wake up and I'm like, oh, I want to go get coffee, go to the mall, go across town to find a fabric for my sewing machine.
And because we didn't get our stuff together until we were, you know, I was over 50, he was over 60, we never really thought we could have this life.
I'm at the mall getting outfits because they $10.
And so another thing that we do is hang out with our friends.
I'm going to try new restaurants because that's $7.
There is a huge English-speaking Black community here.
So I'm just out doing one thing to the next thing to the next.
Like-minded people you can share your day-to-day life with.
All across
It's always
town.
something to do out here. It's always something to do.
So we found our tribe here in Lisbon, Portugal.
People are leaving the United States in record numbers. They're leaving for reasons like Rick said, to connect with their tribe, to stretch that US dollar just a little bit further, or for safety and security. Hi, my name is Rondel.
And I'm Apryl. We've been living abroad since 2017, looking for a place to call home and collecting interesting and informative expat stories from around the world to help you make your move abroad.
And we found out one of the main reasons people are leaving the United States right now is because of their disenfranchisement with the American dream.
Coming from America, we have a mentality that we think like America is the best that you can get. You can't go anywhere else, and this is just what you have to have. Yeah. But it's not the case. It's not true. It's propaganda. Yeah. They want you to think that you can't go anywhere and live the way you live in there. You could be living better. But people have to open their minds to the possibilities of change.
The promise of the American dream. A house in the suburbs with a white picket fence. 2.5 kids, a dog, and enough disposable income to save for a comfortable retirement and a couple of vacations a year has turned into the American nightmare. But a growing number of people have found a cheat code to achieve their own American dream. And this is where we catch up with Antoinette Yvonne, a creative that's been thoughtfully sharing her journey while documenting her life in Bangkok, Thailand.
My experience here in Bangkok has been nothing short of incredible. Bangkok is a melting pot of nationalities, of foods, flavors, and experiences. So they call Thailand the land of smiles. Positive energy and the smiles have definitely rubbed off on me, and that's in the best way possible. The cost of living here in Bangkok is definitely a question that I get asked often. On average, I spend about $1,800 USD per month, and that includes everything from rent, utilities, food, social activities and gatherings. I do that often, and even indulging in my weekly massages. Now, do I believe this is a deal? Yeah. Bangkok offers an incredible quality of life at a fraction of what it would cost for some of the other major cities in the world. It's affordable, and you also get that rich and experienced lifestyle that I was looking for.
There's lots of different parts and moving pieces when thinking about a life abroad. But there's one thing that every expat has to consider. How will you make a living? This is a snapshot of the most popular ways expats are carving out a life internationally. We asked our people how they sustain themselves, and they had some interesting answers.
You know, we get that question a lot. Folks ask, how can you afford it, right?
Right.
We designed a life that we could live on just his Social Security check, which is really, really hard to do in the United States.
Before moving to Panama, we did start a couple of online businesses, but we were selling some clothes.
I got a few questions asking, what do I do for work? I do this. I'm a travel show host. I also work freelance for a few clients, and that is what really took me the longest before I took that leap. I had been ready to leave America for a long time, but I wanted to make sure my financial situation was in a good place before I took that leap. And for me, that was getting freelance clients.
We live on about $31,000 to $36,000 per year. So $2,700 to $3,000 per month. We also enhance that for splurges and things like that with our YouTube channel, Our Black Utopia, and the courses that we design and sell.
We created a Panama relocation online course.
We do coaching, one-on-one coaching. We try to do as little as possible to sustain ourselves, and that's a luxury that we could not have in the United States.
The other thing that we started prior to moving here, we did start a YouTube channel.
We think everybody should have a YouTube channel. If you want to do a side hustle, if you want to have your own business, there is no better way to gain an audience than YouTube. YouTube has totally changed our lives.
Yo, are we heading toward a society that's doomed if you don't know how to hustle?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've been there.
We there.
Have that entrepreneurial bone in you or that hustler mentality, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah.
If you feel excited, anxious, or even overwhelmed at the thought of moving your life internationally to a whole nother country, you're not alone. Every person that's moved internationally before you has gone through that same range of emotions. But there's something that you can do right now to change all of that. It all starts with a list.
After comprising a list of about 5 different places that we wanted to move to outside of the US, South Africa being the first one, it ended up being the last one as well.
I wanted to be by a beach. I wanted tropical weather, but not like extreme weather from anywhere. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to be by like in a place where it was majority Black people. Yep. And I wanted it to be something that was a good conversion for the money.
Mm-hmm. The number thing at the top of my list was a walkable city, a place where the US dollar is strong, a place with good infrastructure, and just a place where I think I could find my community and also have a great jumping point to travel to other countries.
I was drawn to the city of Bangkok after a recent visit last year. Moving to Bangkok was somewhat of a well-planned effort for me. So having spent a couple of months here last year, I already knew the areas that I liked and where I could call home. And I also knew exactly what I wanted in terms of necessities, amenities, and budget. So when I did touch down, I was ready to hit the ground running. And in regards to the actual apartment itself, I need a high-rise, 24-hour security, a gym, co-working space preferably, and a rooftop pool.
With all the other countries on your list, what made you decide this country was the one for you?
The way it made us feel.
Yeah, just the way I felt. We did one trip to the continent before we moved here.
Yeah.
And it was a confirmation trip. Like, we already knew we were going to move here. We was like, we just need to see it just to tell other people we seen it. And, you know, that's why
we got to make sure we ain't tripping.
Yeah. Just to let them know, like, you know, I did my due diligence. Everything's cool there. So, yeah, we did one trip. We stayed out here for about 45 days.
Yeah.
And we knew on day 3, this is where we were going to be. Like, I knew, I was like, I'm just chilling. And around that time is when I heard the phrase for the first time about the I am because you are. Yeah. And just seeing that they really live by that, it was touching. And I was like, I want to be by people who feel like their well-being is dependent on the next person's well-being as well. People look out for their neighbors here. Just in general.
How did I learn about Albania? Well, I actually was sent a video from a friend of mine telling me about the 1-year visa upon arrival process for Americans. And once I learned about that, I definitely was like intrigued. I started doing more research about things to do here, the location overall in comparison to Europe, and I fell in love. It ticked all my boxes.
Albania ticks quite a few of our boxes too. Tucked away in the Balkan Peninsula, it's a small country with some big surprises and huge savings. A jaw-dropping coastline, dramatic mountain ranges, and a rich history. In Albania, ancient ruins meet modern vibrancy and affordability. Once isolated under communist rule, Albania is now one of Europe's best-kept secrets, and it's the most affordable destination on our list. But it also is the least diverse. For adventurous travelers, this uber-affordable, vibrant destination could be your next home.
Hearing people say, "Oh, you ain't gonna be nothing like America. You got to stay in America, America, America." What the hell has America done for you?
Where else you been? One thing it did before us, spend that American dollar around the world.
Now that's the lick. That's the lick. And that's what I think the play is, like a way to get money and get people out of their certain situations is to get money from one place and spend it in another place.
So I had to make a choice. Do I go live in a less expensive area of the United States, places that I know that I'm not happy? Or, so when I ran the numbers, I found that it was actually at least the same, if not cheaper, to move from developing country to developing country as my visa runs out in each of these countries.
What both Celine and Courtney are talking about is something called Geo Arbitrage. And Geo Arbitrage is the major source behind why the expat lifestyle has exploded now. Geo Arbitrage is simply earning money in one economy and spending that money in an economy that's less expensive, so in a different country or a different city. This transformation, this globalization of the exchange of currency is massive. Over 40 million people from various countries all over the world have decided to leave their home country and live internationally.
Hi, I'm Tiffany.
Hi, I'm David.
And we are the Williamses, and we are currently living in Japan. And we've been here for almost a month now, so we decided to move abroad because we were experiencing multiple layoffs, and the very last layoff that we did have, we decided this was it. We're going to live in Japan until we figure something else out. So that's why we're abroad.
Cheaply in Japan.
Cheaply in Japan, and we're here with our lovely kids. Thanks, guys.
But there's one thing that must happen in order to take advantage of this geo arbitrage, and that's earning a stable income, be it retirement, savings, investments, whatever you need to do to package up your anointing and sell it.
And then we also started to make and distribute holy anointing oil. We sell that on Amazon. That business grew, quite well enough for us to be able to quit our jobs, move here, and sustain ourselves. We may a few times a week have to go to our storage unit and do some mixing and bottling of the holy anointing oil that we sell.
When you go abroad, you're going to collect a whole bunch of experiences. The people that you meet, the cultures that you encounter, the food that you taste, the accommodations you're in, the culture shocks you experience. You're gonna leave with some stories. Some good, some bad, some happy, some sad.
Coma Key is a family-friendly place, as well as Durbanville.
Okay.
But you're gonna have some baboon sightings. That was the only thing that was the kicker.
What do you mean baboon sighting? What does that mean?
Okay, so first time we were seeing them was like 20, 25 monkeys came through, and they covered the house, covered the yards. Monkeys coming down the pillars, like, you see the pillar right here, monkeys just sliding down, my dog's going crazy. They got the baby monkeys on their backs, and they was all just chilling.
So it wasn't attack mode, it was chill.
No, they was cool.
Got it.
Right, so that was the first time.
All experience is personal. Out of the 5 countries that we're exploring, everyone's experience in them is going to be unique and personal to them. But despite that, we wanted to give you an idea on what to expect. So we asked our people what life is like in their respective countries.
It is a lot less structured now in terms of having to get up and go to a job, or get up, jump on conference calls, meetings and things like that. So, our lives now is a lot more, relaxed.
It's relaxing. It's not having to be up at any certain time in the morning to be somewhere unless you want to.
Exactly. We wake up when we want.
We wake up when we want to.
We've been able to travel around Panama quite a bit. We've hit some cities on the Caribbean side like Bocas del Toro, and then also Colón Province, Colón City, and Portobello.
We've pulled up the map and we're just picking small towns within Portugal to visit.
Go on hikes. We've been hiking mountain trails, hiked to certain waterfalls. I figured we would do it some, and I don't want to make it sound like we do it a lot, but we do it more than I expected. We're actually part of a hiking group, which you couldn't have told me I would be part of a hiking group.
So we still have what we call adventure days, and we just hit the map and say, we either walk, we have walkabouts, right? And we will walk for hours. We try to get lost.
Yeah.
I love seeing, beautiful sights, getting some beautiful photos, some beautiful videos. Once you start seeing these things for yourself, it becomes a little bit addictive.
It is a physically small city, but it is so dense and compact. There's so much to explore.
Panama is a small country, but it packs a heck of a punch. It has a lot of natural beauty.
Panama is where affordability meets quality of life, filled with friendly locals, pristine beaches, and luscious rainforest, with a sunny, often muggy climate that feels like an endless vacation. Cost of living hovers around $1,800 a month. Retirees and diginomads find it easy to settle in and enjoy their lives here. English is widely spoken. The US dollar is the main currency, and there are strong expat communities throughout the country.
We meet people coming into town, they want to meet you and have breakfast or something, but we ain't going to early breakfasts, y'all. We just
don't even ask. Don't even ask. Those are the kinds of things we get to do now whenever we want.
We made a decision to leave the US about 3 years before we made our move. But the question was, where do we go? So we started doing some research, and every list that we looked at had Panama in like the top 1 or 2. We always heard how nice the people were here, how friendly they were here. So during our 4 exploratory trips, we were able to see that for ourselves. In spite of the language barrier, people are really, really helpful and very, very nice. All of those reasons kind of led us into choosing Panama.
One of the reasons that we chose Portugal is because it's less expensive to live here than in Denver, where we're from.
So then Carter yelled, "It's a monkey in the house." I was walking into the hallway, then I looked behind myself. I just saw his tail walking past.
If you could give some advice to somebody that's generally moving out the country or considering South Africa, what would your advice be?
I would say don't even tell nobody.
Yep.
Don't tell people. Not necessarily like nobody in the world, but yes, don't cast your pearl before swine. Don't let everybody know what your goals and ambitions are before you have a good handle on what they are for yourself. Because a lot of times we'll have a half-baked idea and then tell it to the wrong person and they deflate it so quick that your dream don't make it out of the room because they done killed it off before they can even. And it's ridiculous that we let these kind of people smash our dreams so quick when they ain't never had nothing.
Exactly.
They ain't never been nowhere, ain't never seen shit, and they'll tell you so quick, oh, don't go there. It's dangerous out there. Don't go there. They ain't got no food out there. Don't go there because they ain't got no roads. But if you look at
to streamline my process, I found a fantastic realtor on one of those Facebook groups. I personally didn't want to spend all my time scouting online listings, scheduling viewings, and negotiating prices on my own. So having a local Thai realtor guide me through the process was honestly priceless. And so within 3 days of arriving, I found my perfect place. Looking back, I honestly wouldn't change a thing. The process of hunting for a condo here in Bangkok actually worked out better than I could have imagined. And I honestly credit that to my realtor. It really made my transition here into the Bangkok lifestyle seamless and stress-free.
We also had a 2-year living expenses emergency fund because, look, y'all, you do not want to get out in these international streets, right? Talking about,
where's the food bank?
Can I get some donated clothes? No. That's not a good look, and we ain't about that life.
And sometimes people are not going to be on your side with it. They're not going to say, oh, that's a great idea, you should go, I celebrate with you. No, they're going to say all the fears that held them in the same place that they're in.
Right. And
then try to speak that over your journey. And if you're not 100% sure what you're going to do, then you'll fold and you won't do nothing and you'll be sitting there just like them.
Yep.
So then Carter yelled, "It's a monkey in the house." Mom yelled, "Yeah." Mom yelled, "Where?"
Hey, what's up, man?
I went to my room door, like in the hallway, and right as I'm trying to look for the monkey, he leaps over Carter's head. You see how that ledge is right there? He was holding onto a ledge like that, hanging onto it, and he just jumped to the next one, right over Carter's head. They inside the room, everybody's safe, but we're looking at the monkey through the keyhole. That's how big the keyholes are. You know the skeleton keys? We looking at this thing. The monkey literally goes to the refrigerator, opens up the refrigerator, and starts pulling out dishes. Yeah. He pulled out a spaghetti dish that I had just made. I had just made spaghetti. He pulled it out, opened it up, like, and ate all the spaghetti with his hand.
He eating like this in
the table. He's sitting on the table eating the spaghetti.
And we yelling at him through the key. Hey, monkey, get out our house, get out, we see you. And he eating cake. How'd you get him out?
The host for the Airbnb.
We was like, hey, so look, the monkey in here, how we gonna get him out?
She said open the door so he can get out.
We was like, but we in the room, so how we gonna open the door? Cause he in the middle.
I had to get past him to open the door.
They said, just go out and walk past him.
He won't bother you.
I'm like, man, I hear you.
That's not a good idea.
That's wild. Yeah, I hear you, but.
So she's like, I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. She was like, just call the baboon watchers. Why do y'all have an emergency baboon watcher group?
They got apps and everything.
So we called the people and they came maybe less than 10 minutes. They was like, we're here to help you with the baboon. We're like, oh my God, come on in.
It was a man, he got on full
battle rattle.
Full battle, right.
He had on a helmet and he had a stick. Like he was looking nervous, like, where is he at? Where is he at?
He coming in like this and she's like, don't corner him.
And she looked like Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah.
She pops around with like a water hose and she's like, where is he? Where is he?
We like, he in there, you gotta go in the hallway. So they came out.
We let these strangers into our bedroom with the kids in there, everything. And they're like, we're gonna go in and find him and shoo him out of the house. So that's exactly what they did. They went in, they found him, and they shooed him out. He ended up going out the same window he broke in through.